Most grand finals are pretty well umpired, but there's some that just aren't. These are the times that umpires ruined AFL grand finals. In 2002, Anthony Rocca and the Magpies fell just 9 points short from stopping back-to-back Brisbane premierships and winning their first premiership since the 1990 grand final. But it was 8 minutes into the fourth quarter when a very controversial moment happened. Rocca was lining up for his fifth goal of the match when he flushed a long bomb from outside 50, putting Collingwood ahead by 2 points. Or so it seemed. The umpire didn't see it that way, calling his shot a point. Rocca was so certain that it was a goal that he celebrated and was completely out of position when Brisbane took the kick in. The man himself says that to this day he still puts it down as a 5-goal performance and never adds the point. Luckily for him, the Pies got their revenge in the two teams' 2023 grand final rematch, which also featured another umpiring decision that this time potentially cost Brisbane a premiership. With Collingwood leading by 4 points and less than 1 minute remaining, Lachie Neale was tripped by Oleg Markov whilst handballing it. As expected, the umpire blew his whistle and Neale was awarded a free. But because of the deafening roar from the 100,000 strong crowd, Zach Bailey couldn't hear the whistle. He sent a poor rush kick forward whilst being tackled by Will Hoskin-Elliott that was intercepted by the Pies. This play eventually led to Hoskin-Elliott marking on the wing before Collingwood simply held onto the ball and ran out the clock until the final siren sounded. Almost every commentator pounced on the umpire for a seemingly bad call. You have to cut the umpire some slack though. With the extremely high pressure of the situation, plus the crowd noise, even the most experienced of umpires would have been prone to making a costly mistake in that moment. After their 2016 grand final loss against the Western Bulldogs, all Sydney Swans fans were left complaining about the umpiring. And they'd be right in doing so, because it wasn't just them making excuses. 5 days after the match, the AFL investigated the matter and found that the umpiring fell well short of the standard they expected from 3 of the game's most elite umpires, those being Matt Stevic, Simon Meredith and Scott Jeffrey. There were 3 to 4 decisions that were admittedly wrong. One of these notorious frees was Easton Wood's dangerous slide into Dan Hannebery in the final quarter, that left him with a medial ligament injury. Another was Dane Rampy being called for holding the ball even though he got a clear handball away. In total, the Bulldogs received 20 free kicks to the Swans' 8, with this differential of 12 being the highest since the 3-umpire system was introduced in 1994. 45 years ago, the 1979 grand final also featured a very controversial umpiring incident. 113,000 people packed into the MCG to see Collingwood and Carlton play, and it went down to the wire. 19-year-old Wayne Harms was playing up forward in the last quarter when his shot at goal landed just short. But thanks to sheer determination, he managed to reach his own kick on the boundary and slap it all the way to the goal square, setting up teammate Ken Sheldon for his 3rd major. This play was so crucial, extending Carlton's lead to 10 points before they eventually won by 5. For over 40 long years, it was heavily debated whether the ball was still in play when Harms thumped it towards goal. However, thanks to a newly discovered camera angle from ABC's coverage of the grand final, it was confirmed that goal umpire Bob Barker had in fact made the right call, and that the Blues had fairly won the match. Although the umpire's call didn't exactly ruin the grand final, it certainly ruined it for Magpies fans, as it was probably a 50-50 call. The 2018 Eagles Umpires Grand Final was one of the best Grand Finals ever. With only 2 minutes remaining, Liam Ryan surged the ball forward to the boundary and Dom Sheed secured the crucial mark. Sheed went on to nail the goal from an incredibly tight angle and seal a famous premiership win, but Collingwood fans called the Grand Final rigged. Willie Rioli had supposedly blocked Brayden Maynard out of the marking contest, gifting Sheed the free mark. West Coast fans completely disagreed though, as expected. Lee Matthews went on to the AFL Game Day show the very next day, saying that it was clearly a block and should have been paid a free. However, the AFL and most experts agreed with Brett Roseberry's decision to not award a free. Two-time premiership coach Chris Scott was one of these, stating that players are well within their rights to control their opponent to prevent them from getting to the ball. The man himself, Brayden Maynard, has since stated he believed it was a block, but that he doesn't care as much now that he's won a premiership. In the 2009 Grand Final, with scores level and the game approaching half-time, Tom Hawkins smothered a St Kilda kick out of defence and goaled right in front. But upon further review, it was clear that the footy had deflected off the post. What was the margin when the siren sounded? 6 points. If you don't include Max Rook's dribble kick goal at the end, when no one was on the mark. Hawkins' incorrectly awarded goal was actually a major reason for the AFL introducing the goal review system. A similar shot from Sharad Wellingham in the 2011 Grand Final was the other incident that put pressure on the AFL to do more about the issue.
If this game ends in a Collingwood win by less than a goal, we will have one of the biggest controversies in Grand Final history.
The 2017 Grand Final might have not been ruined by umpiring, but there were certainly some terrible umpiring calls. Some AFL fans will call it Vic bias, while others won't. The clearest example was Eddie Betts clearly being held by one arm by Dylan Grimes in the goal square, with even Brian Taylor disagreeing with the umpire's non-call.
The top Townsend couldn't get that. Bet was held. Should have got the free.
There was also a terrible advantage call made after Taylor Walker won himself a free, with Rory Atkins being taken holding the ball. Finally, Atkins once again had absolutely no opportunity to dispose of the ball, but was pinged for holding the ball, when it should have been no prior. Did I miss any times the umpires ruined AFL Grand Finals? Let me know with a comment. And subscribe.